Okay, here we go.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to give it just a few more seconds to let everybody come in from the waiting room, and anyone who's still connecting to their audio get connected. So thank you all for joining us today. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Brittany Boston. I am with the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support. And as a speaker for the 2021 Forum for Excellence, you have probably received quite a few emails from me in the last several weeks as we've been navigating whether we were going to be in person or hybrid or virtual. So we are all virtual this year for the 2021 Forum. And our theme this year is Through the Equity Lens, really focusing on equity in academics and the workforce. And we're just really happy to have you all participate. So Kirsten, if we could move to the next slide. The Forum for Excellence is a conference that we've been doing annually for quite some time now for career, technical, and adult education programs and providers. It's through the Illinois Community College Board and my center, Icsps, along with the Southern Illinois Professional Development Center and the Professional Development Network, help to plan and do all the behind the scenes work to make the Forum for Excellence just that, to make it excellent. And so it's something that we enjoy putting on every year and hope that you guys enjoy it as well, whether it's in person or virtual, or from here on out will probably be a combination of the two. So next slide. So today we are going to give some speaker information as to what this virtual format is going to look like. If you participated in last year's Forum for Excellence, we were also virtual. We used the Whova app, which you will hear us talk about several times throughout the presentation today. But if you were not or are not familiar with Whova, we're going to walk you through kind of what it's going to look like for you as a speaker, accessing your session, registering for the forum, getting into Whova, and all of that wonderful information as well. So that's the plan for this afternoon. Kirsten, if you could move to the next slide. And again, I just want to thank you for the flexibility, the adaptability. I know many of us were hopeful that we would be able to be in person given different circumstances. But thank you all for being understanding of the quick shift to virtual, and for doing it with grace. I've been sending a lot of emails that I'm sure many of you are like, okay, Brittany, stop sending us stuff. But thank you for never saying that to me. I greatly appreciate it. And we're so thankful that you are still going to share your wonderful information with the field and to help share how your programs are operating and all of the great information that you guys out in the field have to share with others. So Kirsten, next slide. Okay, so this is just a quick reminder for Zoom and to help us keep track of the speakers and presenters that have participated within these trainings. So you do have the option to rename yourself. If you click on the participants tab and find you can click the rename option. Whether you're logging in through your child's computer or your iPad, that's family iPad, we just want to make sure that we see your name and who's actually present today. All right, so some before the conference tips that we have for you. First and foremost, as a speaker, as an attendee, as a participant, we ask that you register through the Whova app. We've been sending out some email blasts that have the registration link in there. We are also going to be putting that in the chat. If you want to do that after this session, not right this minute, but afterwards, you can get in there and register yourself for the forum. And I will say, as a speaker for the forum, I have personally entered everyone into Whova as a speaker. So one little note is that whatever email address you used to submit your RFP, or if you have been communicating back and forth with me, maybe you didn't submit an RFP, that's the email address that I used to enter you into Whova. So if that's not the email address that you're using to register, you will be in there twice. And you do have the ability to search attendees to see if you are listed in there twice. And if that's the case for you, please feel free to send me an email and I can get that corrected just so that the correct profile is linked to your session, just to keep everything cohesive. And then also we ask to download the Whova app. There is a web app, which is just like a web page that you can pop up on your laptop or your desktop. And more than likely, that'll probably be how you're presenting through for your session. But if you want to get involved in the networking and engagement aspects of Whova, we do ask you to download the app for either your phone or your iPad or tablet, because there are a lot of ways to communicate and network virtually with one another. So, and this is all also on the forum webpage as well. If you need that information, you can find it there also. So next slide.
Hello.
Okay. Oh, yep. Nope. Go ahead, Kirsten.
Sorry, Brittany. I didn't know if you were going to introduce me.
No, go ahead.
I guess I'll introduce myself. So hi, everyone. My name is Kirsten Baer. I work with Brittany at the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support, and I am the digital communications manager. So I deal with all things technology for the center, and per going virtual, fully virtual again this year, I am back on in full force with all of you. So just a couple of things that we wanted to tell you guys before the forum. So before your session, from the technology side, we ask that you go after you register, maybe play around a little bit in the Whova app, kind of practice navigating it to figure out how to add other sessions to your agenda that you might want to join. Update your Whova profile. You can add a picture, you can interact and answer a fun icebreaker question to interact with your fellow colleagues who have already joined the app. And you can also, we ask that you practice your presentation. So you can do this either practicing on your own Zoom account. If you would like to have us help you set up a practice session in Whova, we are more than willing to support you in those efforts. So that way you can actually practice your session on Whova, and we're willing to support you in any manner that we're able to. We also ask that you check your Zoom. So Whova is integrated with Zoom. So most of us, after a whole entire year and a half in this pandemic, we are familiar with the Zoom app and Zoom features, but just like everything else with technology, Zoom is consistently changing. So we ask that you double check to make sure that your Zoom is the most updated version. And reason being is just because sometimes if you have an outdated version of Zoom, when it's integrated into other software like the Whova app, it might lag in audio, lag in camera, or especially we notice a lot of lagging in the closed captioning capabilities. So if you could just double check your personal Zoom account to make sure it's the most updated version. And you can do this by, I have a little screenshot over here, going over to actually your icon, you'll click on your picture and click check for updates. And then it will pop up. And if you have an update, you can run it and just make sure you have the most updated version. Before your session, we've also provided you some resources along with Whova has a guide for speakers. So you can click on the Whova guide for speakers, review that. There's video tutorials, as well as information. You can also review our Icsps presenter webinar checklist. This is just a checklist to make sure you're kind of on track as you're building your presentation. And you can also check out our tips for an ideal presentation environment. And this has tips for your lighting, your audio, and just kind of your environment that you'll be virtually presenting within. We also ask that you go ahead and upload your PowerPoint slide deck or whatever materials, handouts that you're using to your Whova session. You will have capability to do so as a speaker. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this or feel that it's just easier to go ahead and send your presentation slide deck and handouts to us and we can upload it for you to your session, we are more than willing to support you in that effort. You can go ahead and send your materials to our support email, which is icsps@ilstu.edu. And we ask that you just do this by September 15th to allow us ample amount of time to get that on the Whova app for you.
Hello, my name's Tara Schwab, and I'm from the Southern Illinois Professional Development Center. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it's going to be like during your session. So you will have 2 people assigned to help you out during your session. And we have a team of people that are comprised of members from Icsps, ICCB, the Central and Southern Professional Development Center. So you'll have a moderator and a technical support person. You'll be in touch with both with your moderator very soon. So we've already got those assigned and we've got the Zoom links being set up. So your moderator will be there to support you and help to field questions, waiting rooms and all that kind of thing. And the technical support can also help with any troubleshooting, technical difficulties, muting, lagging, those kind of things. So you'll have plenty of support there for you to hopefully make it a smooth presentation and experience for both you and the attendees. So we will definitely have a phone number in place too, in case you feel the need, like something's an emergency, and we'll figure it out. Okay, so we got you. You'll have plenty of support. Okay, Zoom functionality. So this is great. This is kind of like something that's really progressed since last year and throughout the pandemic. You should have full Zoom functionality. We've checked it out, so you'll be able to use the closed captioning, the chat, breakout rooms, all those kinds of things in Zoom. So you'll have a Zoom link in your session in Whova, but then that'll just bring you to a Zoom session. Most of us are familiar with Zoom. And again, you've got plenty of support. If there's some things that you're wanting to do, you can work that out with your moderator, and also you'll have support during your session. You'll be made a co-host. So you also have capability to run breakout rooms, let people in, mute people, share your screen, that sort of a thing. So if you want to do polls, you can definitely do polls. Those will need to be put in your Zoom meetings. In case you haven't used polls before, those do have to be put in before the meeting, and then you launch them whenever you choose throughout your presentation. So again, we do have people, our team is comprised of people from different centers. So we just ask that you have your polls in to your moderator by September 15th. So they have time to go in and make sure that your polls are all set for your session. So again, hopefully the theme, the last couple slides is we got you, you'll be in contact with your moderator, and we'll be there to support you. So everything hopefully runs smoothly. And how to get into your session. So you will be getting a, oh, good question. I just saw a question pop up, the format that we'd like the polling questions. Honestly, they have to, any form is fine. If you put them in an email, for me, I'm fine with that. Do the other team members have a preference of how they'd like the polling questions?
Yeah, you can just actually email them to your moderator just with the questions and the answer options. Zoom does only allow us to have up to 10 answer options, but you can make them like select all that apply if you would like to do some kind of question prompts like that. So we have that capability to do select all that apply or just an individual answer, but you can only have up to 10 answer options. So just keep that in mind as you're building any polls.
And I see another question here. These will, Dawn, thank you for asking. these are going to be Zoom meetings and not webinars. So everyone will have audio and video capability. Of course, you have, as the speaker, are welcome to ask, any preferences, reminding people to mute but they're set up as Zoom meetings. That's a good question. Thank you for asking.
Just to interject, Tara, the general session in the morning on Thursday within the keynote address session will be Zoom webinar though, and that is just due to the capacity that we have. We just have a bigger capacity of up to 1,000 seats in those general sessions, but everything else will be meetings, Zoom meetings.
Okay, so you will be getting a calendar invite from your moderator, and you'll be getting those by this Friday. And on your calendar invite, you'll have a time that's 15 minutes before your session start time to make sure that everything's running smoothly. So you can be looking for that as you're in touch with your moderator. And you'll access your session through Whova. So we, of course, even though the links will go to a full Zoom session, we want everyone to go to Whova. That's where all the Zoom links are going to be. That's where our agendas are going to be. And so we'll have everything. That's kind of our home base for everything. It has a lot of capabilities and it's organized really well. It looks great. So we're going to have everything go through Whova and then link out to Zoom. So that'll be great.
Okay, just some speaker tips that we have for you all. And some of these are accessible in the presentation tips for the best presentation environment document. So you can also reference these tips there. But if you are not aware, well, first off, we want to ask for you to have your camera turned on when you are presenting. Your audience does come to see you. And although we are virtual, we want to have that engagement and interaction. And we truly feel that if a speaker has their camera on, the audience is a lot more likely to be engaged with them and with the session content as well. And then if you're not aware, Zoom does have this new audio setting, which is really great because we've all been working from home or we've experienced working from home in some capacity over the last year and a half. And I don't know about you, but I have 3 dogs at home. I know many of my other fellow coworkers on this line have kids and significant others. And, every morning I'm on a meeting with my coworkers and the mail lady comes and I always have to apologize because my 3 dogs go absolutely crazy. We've all been there, right? But Zoom has this new suppress background noise feature that they actually came out with in last spring. So you might already be aware of it. And if you are ahead of the game and you are amazing. But if you are not aware of it, it's just a good best practice to have on your Zoom settings. You can do this. You can actually do it right now on your session. You can do it one of 2 ways. The first way is by actually going up to your microphone right now on this Zoom session because you're all logged into Zoom, right? And you can click the little arrow right next to your microphone and click audio settings. And then it will pull up this window. And the window is the exact screenshot that you see on the slide here. You can also do it by once you're done with this session and we're done with this training, you can go into your Zoom account and go into your settings there and also edit the exact same settings. It will pull up this exact same window that the screenshot is on the slide here. But you'll do this by going to your audio over here on the left. Oops. So when you're in this browser, you'll locate the audio over here on the left. And then about 3 sections down, there's this section that says suppress background noise, and you'll want to click high. And what this does is it just suppresses any noise that's not being directly inputted into your computer's microphone. And so this is really nice because any background noise, even typing, that was a huge thing last year is that people could hear others typing during the meeting if they didn't have themselves on mute. Even typing, dogs barking, people talking maybe in another room, or if you're like my husband, he likes to watch TV really loudly in our family room, which is right next to my office. And so things like that, your attendees and other people on your Zoom session will not be able to hear if you have this on high. And the good thing is that once you suppress this background noise and you go into the settings one time, it will be this way for all of your Zoom meetings going forward. So if you don't have this on high, we recommend that you do that at least for the forum. And it's really just a good best practice for working virtually and Zoom meetings in the future as well. Some other speaker tips that we wanted to note is you can go into your video settings. So in that same browser in your video settings, you might think about mirroring your video if you're going to be pointing to anything, or if you're someone who likes to talk with your hands, you can mirror your video so that way it's actually left or right in the right direction if you're going to be pointing at anything, and your audience can see a direct reflection of you. You can also do things that are kind of fun and new to Zoom. You can touch up your appearance. It kind of just puts a slight filter on your face. If you're like me and when you work from home, you don't do your makeup or you're a little tired, you can feel free to touch up your appearance. You can also click the adjust for low light button. And so this just allows, if you are in a more like dark room, or you don't have maybe the best lighting, or if you're next to a window and it's creating a shadow, or maybe it rains the day of the forum and it's really dark outside, adjust for low light just kind of helps brighten up you as the person and adjusts your camera video for any low light that you might be in that room, might have in that room. You can also, on that same setting, go to your backgrounds and filters, and we do have a Forum for Excellence virtual background filter. So you can feel free to use this and we'll give you access to it, or you can upload your own background and filter. It's a good best practice to use a Zoom filter for your background, especially if you are working from home or if you're like me and you have a messy office. You can feel free to do that to your discretion, but if you don't want to do a filter, maybe you don't like filters, it cuts your hair off. I understand that. We ask that you just make sure that your background is clean and concise and not too busy to be distracting to attendees. And then after your session, so we have the before your session, the during your session, and now we're going to cover after your session. So as you're closing out your session during the forum, your moderator will pipe up and close out with some announcements and reminders. And attendees can still ask questions and they can still chat within the Whova app. So during your session, all communication with attendees, unless verbal, but if they're chatting, it will be in the Zoom chat. But after your Zoom session has closed out and we exit out of it and leave the Zoom meeting, your Whova session will still be on the agenda and attendees can still go back in there. And there's actually another chat feature in the Whova app and they can converse, ask questions, things like that. And we ask that you as the speaker maybe check back periodically just to provide any follow-up to some questions that might come through about your session later. And then lastly, we wanted to remind you as our speakers to follow us for forum updates. So we have all of our forum updates, engagement, and information regarding the 2021 Virtual Forum for Excellence will be on both my center's website, the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support. It'll be on our Facebook and Twitter accounts, as well as the Professional Development Network's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts. And we do have some hashtags for you if you'd like to tweet about the Forum for Excellence, get some of your followers who may have not registered yet to register. You can feel free to reshare some of the posts that our accounts have already put out. And we are using the hashtags Forum for Excellence 2021 and Excellence for Equity. So those are our hashtags for this year. And then I think at this time, we're gonna have time for any questions, or we can walk through any of the things that we've talked about today in further detail.
Yeah, if you guys have any additional questions other than what we've covered, please feel free to put that in the chat, or you also have the option to unmute yourself and turn your camera on and engage with us that way as well. We want to make sure that you have all of the answers that you need and the confidence that you need going into your virtual presentation for the day of. I did get a comment about my background filter, and I'm a little disappointed that I didn't fool everyone into thinking this is what my actual office looks like. But yes, you can find, depending on where you're presenting from that day, because right now my real background is just a bunch of boxes in my cubicle. So feel free to use a virtual background. If you're in your living room or in your kitchen or in a cube farm like I am right now, find a background that isn't too loud or too distracting, and feel free to use one of those as well. And yes, we will be sharing out the slides from today as well. I have all of the contact information for our speakers, and so I can attach these into a follow-up email from today's session and share these slides with everyone as well.
Awesome. Sarah, did you have any final remarks, or Brittany, do you have any final remarks?
Brittany, do you have anything you want to say? Because I was just going to say thank you.
Yeah, I think that's really just thank you. Thank you very much. I know that, the beginning of September when we said, surprise, we're moving all virtual, may have thrown a few people for a loop, or you guys may have seen it coming. But I just want to thank everyone for being flexible and being responsive to emails. And if you have any questions or concerns, I know you have my contact information. Your moderator will be getting a hold of you by the end of the week. No question is too small, no topic is too silly. So please feel free to contact us with any comments, concerns that you have. We're here to support you.
Yeah, so let me just echo Brittany. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it. If you need anything, you've already got Brittany. A lot of you have somebody who's on this webinar already, and then your moderator will be reaching out to make sure that you feel comfortable to practice and support in any way that is needed. So again, thank you all for making this shift. Thanks for making the time today to come and find out the latest about Whova and about Zoom and about some specifics about the Forum for Excellence. So we'll be in touch, and thank you all very much.
Thanks, everyone.